All right, guys, y'all know I've been championing Dylan Raiola since he was a freshman in high school, from when he was at Arizona. Then he transferred to a couple different schools in Arizona. Then he ended up moving out here to Beaufort in Georgia. I was supporting him even before he committed to Ohio State, and then decommitted from Ohio State to commit to Georgia, and then decommit from Georgia, my team, on signing day, or right before signing day, somewhere around there. And then he ended up signing to the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Even though many Georgia fans was like trying to say, "Oh, he was trash anyway," but I never took that stance. I've always held strong. I always stood pat that Dylan Raiola was the best quarterback in his class. I think he may be the best quarterback in the next three classes, to be honest with you. Him signing or flipping on Georgia did not waver, did not hurt me to the point like, man, this dude was trash. I'm going to turn my back on. No, man, I think Dylan is a legitimate quarterback. I think he's a legitimate quarterback. And Matt Rhule said some things about him in his latest interview with Joel Klatt. A great interview, by the way. Y'all go and check that full video out. I may link it in the description below. But let's check out what Matt Rhule said, and I'm going to be right back.
Yeah, I mean, your roster, a lot of the excitement is going to center around signing a five-star quarterback. So here comes Raiola. And tell us about what it's been like to not only land him, which was, he was the #1 recruit in the country in a lot of publications, but also what it's meant to your team when you watch him practice, and what it could be for your offense.
Yeah, I mean, Dylan's talent is only matched by who he is as a person. I mean, his family. Obviously, his father was a great Husker. Father played, 14 years in the NFL as an offensive lineman, the most unselfish position that there is, and as a center, a great mom, great sister, great younger brothers. His uncle's our offensive line coach, and so the great thing for us was in recruiting. That he came because he knew what the program was really like on the inside. Yeah. That sends a message to everybody else in recruiting that, hey, this is a good place. The guy actually I was going to go somewhere else. I know what's happening here. You should trust it. You should come here. Yeah. I think the second part of it is so now you're attracting players from all across the country that want to come play with him. But at the end of the day, to your point, it comes down to the football. And he has a unique feel for the game. He's really, really smart. You always hear Tom Brady and those guys talk about when your best players work the hardest, you have a great team. Yeah. Well, Dylan's one of those guys who tries to work the hardest. And so, people talk a lot about turnovers last year, which we should. I go back and say if we can throw the ball better, if we can complete 3rd and 5, if we can, if we're not throwing, interceptions, if we can be more aggressive because we trust our decision making. And so that's been one of the challenges for Dylan. That's been one of the challenges for Danny and for Heinrich. Everyone wants to know who the starting quarterback's going to be in Nebraska. I'm always like, hey, it's going to take probably 2, maybe 3 in this 17-game seasons that we want to have. And so he certainly has helped us raise the level of play, and I think he's going to be a guy that all of college football knows.
So basically, Matt Rhule even though he won't commit to Dylan being the starting quarterback right now, but I think we all have an idea. Even though Heinrich or Haybrook or whatever his name is, even though whatever the other quarterback is, he does look good. But I think we all know that Dylan Raiola is going to get the nod, and he said that the world's going to know about Dylan. I've been telling y'all that for a long time. I've been saying that for a long time, even when all the major recruiting platforms dropped him in the rankings because he flipped on Georgia and signed to Nebraska. Let me tell y'all something. Dylan Raiola was the #1 recruit, #1 quarterback for years. And then once he signed to Nebraska, they dropped this man all the way to 21. All the way to 21 on the final rankings. Then at some point after the final rankings went out, they moved him back up to 7 to cover their ass. You know what I'm saying? So I don't appreciate that. If a kid is that guy, it shouldn't matter where he signs. If he's legitimately a 5-star, if he's legitimately the #1 quarterback, it should not matter where he goes. It shouldn't matter at all. So, hey man, I'm really excited to see what Dylan does for Nebraska. I think he's going to get the nod. I think they're going to be +7 in a lot of different categories that they was -17 in last year. So Nebraska fan, I think y'all got a guy for the next hopefully 3 to 5 years. Because if he play early, he probably gonna end up entering the draft in like 3 years. So I don't think he'll transfer. I mean, his daddy worked there, cousin. He got a lot of ties to Nebraska. So I think Nebraska is the one school where he wouldn't have did a whole bunch of transferring and all that stuff. So, hey, man, appreciate y'all for listening. If you have a kid that needs support in the recruiting process, particularly O-line, D-line, linebackers, and tight ends, send me your film at blindsidepro.com. It's a free form on there to get on my evaluation list. I'm adding kids weekly. Add a couple kids weekly as much as I can. That's a free service, man. Just me donating to the game I love.